Alright, good morning, people of YouTube. So this time we are back with easily one of the best decks of the BT7 format. This time we have purple, yellow Cherubimon. So this is not a deck that I created, this is a deck that people have been talking about, but this is my take on it. This is with a yellow bottom end, with a purple hybrid focus, and you build up into Bunny, and then, yeah, you win the game either before you get to Bunny, actually, or, when the second you get to Bunny, basically, game is secured in your favor, because if they deal with this, then you just flood the board, and if they don't deal with this, then you win. So, we'll go ahead and get right into my card choices. We're going to start from the top end, though, because I feel like that's how the deck makes more sense whenever we're going over it. I got 3 copies of Cherubi. I really don't think you need 4 copies of this card. You will see it by the time that you need to play it, and sometimes you don't want this card clumping too much in your opening hand. But when Digivolving, you get to clear a bunch of level 4 lowers from the board and play a Tamer, which is always nice. And then whenever it dies, you get to play a level 3 from your trash for every Tamer you have in play. So that's not color restricted, and you do get the on-play skills. So you can play cards like Bokomon off of this and get more searches. You can play Bushiagumon and go for fat rush swings. And you can also drop a bunch of Pulsemon and then just gain a crap ton of memory. So this card is absolutely absurd. And it's definitely worth playing. So I'm playing 3 copies of it. So for the level 5s, I got 4 copies of Rihimon. This is your purple hybrid level 5. On deletion, if you have a Tamer or a hybrid in your sources, then you get to play a hybrid from your trash. So that's really cool. You can give this card retaliation with like Kaiser Leomon, and then like evolve on into it, and then like swing at their Digimon, clear their body, and then you get a Tamer back as well. So this is a really nice play. And being able to evolve on top of a hybrid with a Tamer in its sources for just 1 memory is always really good. So going on to the level 4s, I got the 4 copies of Kaiser Leomon and the 4 copies of Loemon. So Loe is just your vanilla hybrid, so not real too exciting there, but these are the only 2 hybrids that are in print for purple, so you have to play 4 copies of each. And then Kaiser Leomon is actually really cool. This card gives this Digimon retaliation until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you can put this in play, and if they swing over it, then they lose their body. But you can also, like, evolve this into, like, a Rihimon, and then possibly into a Big Bunny. And then if you can keep it your turn, you can swing into their dude, retaliate, and then pop your Pinata and get a whole bunch of yellow rookies on the board. So the retaliation is just so key. You can use it offensively, you can use it defensively. This is just a really, really good card, and I absolutely love Kaiser Leomon. Even when we get more purple hybrids, I think this card will stay a 4 of because it's just that good. So going into the level 3s, these are all the cards that you're meant to drop off of your Cherubi when it dies. And also we are playing yellow eggs, so we can evolve and get some extra cycle there. I guess I'll go with the yellow eggs first. I got 2 copies of Upa, and I got 3 copies of Cupie. And the reason for this split is because you do want to start swinging early to get level 3s into your trash. So if you can have at least 1 Cupie draw proc, then that's really good. But Upa's better for the mid to late game. So I did want to include at least 2 Upa in my egg deck, but you also want to see Cupie within your first egg or 2. So I felt like the 3-2 split was definitely worth it. And yeah, having 5 yellow eggs is just key for the yellow hybrid matchup. You definitely want 5 eggs going into that matchup. And just having a bunch of draw cards for yellow eggs is always good. So for the level 3s, I got 3 copies of Bushiagumon. This card has Rush. Rush is amazing. Dropping 3 copies of this whenever a Cherubi dies feels kind of broken. And that's always fun. You can close a lot of games that way. I got 3 copies of Cutemon. These cards are just really good this format. Cards like this, Gaussmon, Syakomon, any card that says your opponent can't reduce their Digivolution cost is key, because green hybrids is really good, and they have JP, which reduces their cost. Every color now has one of these level 5s that they can evolve into for 1. This card stops all of those. And Cutemon is just insane. So we are playing 3 of it. I got 2 copies of Salamon. You know, your generic recover. You can bump this card up to 3 if you want. I don't really feel the need to. The 4 cost to hard play isn't really great. You really only want to evolve this on top of your eggs, but there are a lot of games that you will be thankful that this card is in your list, because extra recovery is really good. But this card is a lot harder to proc this format. Because players are playing a lot more tamers in their security, there are a lot of times that you'll just swing this into your opponent's security, and it will live. And you have to delete this card manually with a card like Calling from the Darkness. So, because I am playing Calling from the Darkness, I am still including this in the list. But if you are not playing Calling from the Darkness, you should probably just drop this card. And then the last purple level 3 that I'm playing... Oh, I'm sorry. The last yellow level 3 that I'm playing that I can Digivolve over my eggs is 4 copies of Pulsemon. Realistically, I think this deck needs 3 Pulsemon, 3 Bushi, and 3 Cutemon. And I like the 2 Sala, so this last spot was just a flex slot. But Pulsemon can count as a 2-cost rookie, because you can play it and then gain the memory back. It can give you extra draw early game, and if your Cherubi dies on your opponent's turn, and let's say you have like 3 or 4 Tamers in play, and you have like 3 or 4 Pulsemon in trash, and you just bring back a bunch of these cards, you can gain enough memory to make it past your turn, and that's always really nuts. Pulsemon is just a great card. The variety and effects that it has makes it useful in a variety of situations. So I chose to bump Pulsemon up to 4 so that I could play 12 level 3 yellow rookies that I can evolve over. So I do really like this ratio. All of the rookies have been putting in work. But I think I would drop one of the Pulsemon for a second copy of Lucemon if I had a second copy of Lucemon, because this card is absolutely insane. You're discarding this card a lot of the times with your other effects, and getting this card in trash is not hard at all. And even if you play this card for 5, like mid to late, or like early to mid game even, and just recover one, that's always a good play. But this is a card that you usually want to bring back off of your Cherubi whenever your Cherubi dies. But yeah, Pulsemon is really good. This card can be a brick early game, but if it is in your hand, it's usually not bricking for very long, because you get to 10 cards in trash very quickly. And then we got some white level 3s. I got 3 copies of Bokomon, because Bokomon is just stupid good. This is just an amazing card, and I think every hybrid list should play this card in some capacity. I just only have room for 3 in this deck. And then I have 1 copy of Nemon. Nemon is actually really, really dumb in this list, because you are swinging Kaiser into bodies with Retaliation, and because you're swinging Rihimon into bodies, and you have the ability to gain a Tamer off of this. Let's say you have this stack, right? And you swing into your opponent's body, or you have Retaliation, so you're deleting them. Rihimon's dying, so you're getting a Tamer back. And then if you have Nemon on board, you're getting a second Tamer back. So Nemon just lets you recycle more Tamers. This card with Koichi is stupid. And yeah, I honestly really wish I had room for a second copy of this card in the list, because this card has definitely been overperforming. But yeah, this fat stack is the stack of cards that you can revive off Cherubi. And I really, really like the ratios I've seen so far. Yeah, the only cards I think I want to bump up are the Nemon and the Lucemon. I think 3 Boko is fine. You can make room for 4 if you want. But yeah, I really like the ratios so far. So moving right ahead, we got the Tamers. I got 2 copies of the Youth. I got 4 copies of Koichi. I got 2 copies of the BT2 purple mat. And then I have 3 copies of the BT3 Mimi. So Mimi is a really good card just for being a 2-cost tamer that can gain you memory back whenever you play options. That's always really fun. And it's just a generic good card. People are playing options this format, so this card can be used on your opponent's turn to kind of like stun them as well. So it's just a great card, and I think playing 3 as just a good 2-cost vanilla that can give me memory back sometimes is just the right play. I don't think I want to play the purple Kari in this list because it costs 3 and it's really easy to play around, in all honesty. Mimi is a lot harder to play around, and I think it's just a lot better in a lot more situations. I am playing 2 mats in this list, as opposed to the standard 1 that purple lists were playing in the past. And the reason for that is because you can recycle this card a lot with, like, Rihimon and stuff. If this card, like, you want to be evolving on top of this card a lot. So that way you can swing this into their body, you know, possibly die, and then you get the mat back, and then you get to pull something back from trash yet again. So having a memory setter is also kind of key. Starting at 3 memory is always nice, but the grabbing a card back from your trash is a lot better this format than it was in previous formats. The youth is really good in purple. You can set cards in your trash for free, you know, get a card in your hand, and you are swinging a Rihimon, like I said, and making it die a lot. And whenever you do that, you can tap this, gain a memory, and then hatch an egg, and it's just a really good play. Analog Youth is definitely an amazing card, and I would play no less than 2 in pretty much any purple hybrid list moving into this format. You could even make the argument to drop a Mimi for a 3rd copy of the Youth, but I think having this number of purple tamers, like I'm only playing 9 purple tamers, I feel like that's the bare minimum. So I do like this ratio, and it has been performing very well for me. I see all of the cards I need to because of the youth and the mat, and Koichi's extra draw cycle is also really nice. Plus the inheritable skill to gain a memory whenever the card on top of this dies is also really cool as just a play extender. And yeah, this deck just has a lot of versatility and so many different things that it can do during each of its turns. You'll be absolutely shocked if you decide to like play this deck at the number of plays that you can make every turn, just because of how many cards you're drawing, how much memory you're gaining, and how much cards you can recycle with things like this. So, closing out the deck, we do have the options. I got a single copy of Reinforcing Memory Boost. We are playing a yellow base, so we are allowed to play one of this card. So you should play one of this card. This card is absolutely amazing. And gaining 3 memory on later turns will make you just able to pop off. So, absolutely love this card, and honestly wish I could play more, but alas, we are not allowed. I'm playing a single copy of Win Rate 60%. This card is in here to make the Bunny combo a lot more live, and that's about it. It's a great card, but I don't think it's worth playing more than one of. And it's one of those cards that if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't, and you won't be hurting. But if you do see it, then your bunny plays are much more live. I'm playing 1 copy of Calling from the Darkness. This card is really good, and I kind of want to bump this up, but I don't know if I can justify it in this list just because I'm not playing the Eismon engine. This card is just broken in combination with Eismon. And it's pretty good in this deck because you can manually trigger Cherubi and Rihi while getting cards back from your trash. But we already have Matt for that, and so I don't really feel like I want to play more than 1. A lot of the times what I do is I discard this card from my hand, actually, and then I get it back with Matt's in the mid to late game so that I can keep recycling it. And there are games that you will play this card 2 or 3 times just by grabbing it back with the mat, and you know that's really nice. The Rihi mat the Rihimon plus Mat cycle is just a broken loop that can basically get you any card you want back from your trash and make your deck a lot more toolboxy. So playing one-ofs in this deck is actually not bad. And then the last card in the deck, I play 4 copies of Schwartz Leerzatz. Now, this is one of the best security checks in the game. It does the same thing Cherubimon does, but just as an option. And if you have like 3 Mimis on board, you know, you can play this, tap your Mimis, go gain 3 memory back. That's really busted. It's just a great card. You want to be playing this card in the list, and I see a lot of people argue that you don't need to play 4 of this because you play the Cherubi, but this card is just so good. Why would you not want to check it in security? So I am playing the full 4, and just even hard playing this card from your hand never feels bad. So yeah, that's the list, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.